Welcome, everybody, to our new podcast. In this podcast, we are talking a little bit about the glands, but in connection with energy and other parts of the body. In the podcast about enjoy, we talked a little bit about this already, and there we decided to make a whole podcast from this. So there we go. First of all, I want to make a disclaimer that everything what I'm going to tell now is coming out of my brain. I want to say, but it's not only it's coming out of my brain. Perhaps a little bit more about where that comes from. I think I never told that before on the podcast, but I have been also a teacher for a long time. In different schools. What I was teaching the most was anatomy, the abdominal organs, and the craniosacral osteopathy. So everything I'm telling comes also from a base of knowledge, but also from my way of looking at the world, what is a little bit different than normal. Let's call it like that. So I made a keynote what I can show you right now. What I try to say also with this disclaimer is that it's my way of looking at the world, but you don't need to take it when it doesn't fit you. Oh, I'm pushing the wrong button. So nothing is set for you until it's set by you. This is also a saying from the Andes, what means you can listen to it, but when it's not for you, don't take it in. And so you decide what belongs to you and what not. When I look at a body, a human body, then I see this. I see 3 circles. The upper one is, of course, there where the head is. The middle one is there where your thorax is. And then from your diaphragm down, so your abdomen and your pelvic area is the lower one. When I'm looking further, then I seeing that every circle has its own energy center. All these energy centers are connected together in a way that the original energy in every center is the same energy, but because it lives in a different surrounding, the energy changes in the way that it's fit to the surrounding it lives in. So the energy in the head is a little bit different than in your thorax or in your abdomen. As so what I said already, but the original energy is the same energy. When I look even further, then I see this, that there is also energy centers on the cross where the circles meet each other and down and completely up. You see it already on the colors, and you counted probably already. You see 7. You can see this as the 7 chakras, but I don't like to talk about it as chakras It doesn't mean that I don't think that there is something wrong with chakras. I think there is even something very right about chakras, but only the original, the way it was expressed originally. Chakras became popular, and to understand what they mean, it became less and less and less. And so what now is said about the chakras is just an very small part of what the chakras is as a whole. Therefore, I rather talk about energy centers. When you look at those energy centers again, then you see that there are three are in a house. So they are inside the circle. So they are talking to the inside world of you, of a person. And then I see 4 energy centers that also can connect with the outside world. And when I look even further, then I see by all those centers that are connecting also with the outside world, I see that they have diaphragms, a kind of diaphragms. When I'm a diaphragm is something like the diaphragm where we breathe with, what can go up and down and can have tension and can relaxing. There are diaphragms who can close and open, like a diaphragm from a photo camera. What it means is that when we are conscious, we can make that that energy can go more to the outside world, inside world. We can have control over it. When we are in a surroundings where it's not good for all our energy to go outside, then we can close it off a little bit. That's the way it should work. But for almost nobody is said too much. The most people, they are not conscious about the tension in those diaphragm. They are just reacting, and those diaphragms get tense, and that makes that it function, and that the energy doesn't go flowing that well. So those diaphragms, I'm pushing wrong again. The one down under is your pelvic floor, then is your diaphragm where you breathe in. I didn't find a normal English name, so the apertura thoracica superior is here on top of you. Is so from your shoulders to your neck, and that functions also a kind of diaphragm. You can feel it when you are very much tense, that you get pressure on your throat, or breathing got more difficult. So that's what you can feel from that diaphragm. And at the upper part, the fontanelle. So the way we learned about the fontanelle is when you a few years old, then it's closed. That's true, but the density of the bones and the flexibility of the bones, the more you can connect, the more flexible it becomes. And so it's not when you feel bone, there is not one density of bones when you look at density in a feeling way. So I always describe it to people like this. Not healthy bone feels like stone, and healthy bone feels like wood. So that's how I make the connection. But when you can really good make that connection to upstairs with the energy, then the bones in these areas are almost softwood. Difference between hardwood and softwood. The energies from the inside world can connect through the energy centers from the outside world, and can bring everything what lives inside, can also through those energy centers can go outside. But therefore those diaphragms has to be open, has to be relaxed, have to be in balance also. And even the best thing is that you can consciously control all those diaphragms. When there is a lot of tension and you're not aware that everything you hold back, then this is happening. So all the energies from outside are going in. Also, huja, so low frequency energy. And here happens exactly what you don't want. Most people tense up, hold their breath, pull their pelvic floor up out of protection. That is so holding your breath, keeping it up. You only can breathe here out of protection, but you pull all the shitty parts from the outside world in. So that happens exactly what you don't want. What happens then is that your energy, your focus is going upward. Not in the energy center, but in your left brain. So you start living your life out of your left brain as a kind of control system. But that's exactly what makes your life that you suffer even more. You can see that so when you look at your energy center inside of you, you have a whole energy body also surrounding you. You can call it aura. I cannot remember this name. Robin? Toroid.
Toroid.
That was it. And as this is more how your energy body, what's surrounding you, functions. When I look at the energy centers, then I also see that every energy center has a gland. The definition of a gland is that it's producing a substance, an organ that is producing a substance. Here now we are not talking about every gland, but we are talking about glands that producing hormones. And so you have glands where you can produce sweat, but that's not where we are talking about. We are only talking about the glands that produces hormones. When you look at the first chakra or energy center, the glands there is the adrenal gland. And yes, I know. Most people think something else. Most people change these two around. But as I said, I studied anatomy a lot. Therefore, the way we studied anatomy is not to remember it, is to understand it. Is why is it built this way? Why is it functioning the way it is functioning? Therefore, to understand why the anatomy looks like it does, we have to study a lot of, I don't know if this word is an English word, embryology. Can you say that on English, Robin?
Embryology.
Embryology. And when I look at the anatomy and embryology, embryology,
Embryology.
um, then I know that it's functioning this way. And since I know this, or since I see this as my truth, and treat people and see my own energy centers as this, it works way better. So therefore I stay with this. Then the pancreas, the thymus, the thyroid, the hypophyse, we call it, or the pituitary gland. Is there an other word also for hypothalamus in your language, Robin?
No, we say hypothalamus.
Okay. And then the last one is the epiphyse or the pineal gland. To discuss every gland and every energy center, it's way too much for one video. When you want to know more and when this is interesting, let us know. We can make a course of it. But it's more that you get insight how it works, so you can find perhaps your own way in it. The two I discuss are the heart and the solar plexus energy centers, because that is your center, and they are the most important ones. Or not important in the best one, but when you start from your center outward, it's always better. So when I look at the heart, there you have the gland, the thymus, as I said. The thymus is as you can see here on this picture, is a gland that is on top at the upper part of your heart, and that is directly underneath your sternum. When I look at the function of the thymus, then it's a kind of how do you say it? It's raising. It's a kind of a parent of the T lymphocytes. The T lymphocytes are also called T cells. That is a kind of white blood cell, and one of the most important one when it's about your immune system. So those T lymphocytes are not produced in the thymus, they are produced in the bone marrow. And the bone marrow that is used is, of course, from bones close to the thymus, because the bone marrow from the flat bones, so the sternum and the ribs, are the best for that. And then when they are produced in that bone marrow, they go to the thymus, and there, with the help of a hormone, they are raising those T lymphocytes. what they also say about the thymus, or what is well known about, is that by young children it is way bigger than by grown-ups. When you are born, you have a very low immune system that has to become better and better in the first years of your life. And then, of course, you need an awful lot of T lymphocytes to build up your immune system so that when you later on in life, you have a very strong immune system. But when I look around, I see so many people who have illnesses, have problems with their immune system. So then I'm thinking, what the hell? Why is the immune system inflammation is the base of so many illnesses we have right now, like heart diseases, like cancer, like so many people have autoimmune diseases. Why shouldn't we, as grown-ups, have a same big of an thymus as young children? Yes, they have to build up their whole immune system, but we also still need an immune system. So why is it small? And what happens then? I'm gonna sit with it, and yes, I was one of those children who always had a why question. So my mother get sick of my why questions, and the answer I got is that why our thymus is smaller, and what they also say, that a part of the thymus cells become fat cells. And when I'm sitting with that, then I'm thinking, and when I look at the position where it lives, then I only can think, we are not living from our heart anymore. We are not living in love anymore. Expressing real love. We don't do that, so not really. So the love is so far gone in our lives. So the thymus needs the love to stay big, to is able to function well. And I said it more often, that we can change the world with love. We can heal ourselves with love. This is one part of that. When we love each other very much, when we live from love, when we also things that we don't like happening, we still put it in love, but love ourselves and love ourselves unconditionally, then also the warmth from love comes also surrounding the heart. When you are passionate from your heart, then even more warmth is coming. So those fat cells that can be there to keep the thymus warm are not needed anymore. The thymus is very superficial, so it's very close to the outside world. So in wintertime, it can be that it's otherwise too cold. But when the warmth is coming from your heart, then those fat cells doesn't need to be there, so your thymus can grow and can do its job by raising those T cells, those T lymphocytes, that your immune system becomes better. I think that's enough for now about the heart and the thymus. When I go to the solar plexus, when I look at the organ from the solar plexus, then we look at the pancreas. Pancreas is that yellowish organ, what you see there. When you look at this picture here, we call it the head, the body, and the tail. So the head lays in the duodenum. The tail goes towards the spleen. On top of the pancreas is the stomach. When you can see that small picture again, you see that it's very, very far back. So the head of the pancreas is on top of your spine, and the rest, the body and the tail, goes even deeper, and it lays next to the spine, and it goes completely to the side. And so the spleen is here. I don't know if you can see that. And when you look at the pancreas is a little bit a strange organ in the sense of glands, and the pancreas has two big functions. In the sense, it helps by the digestion, and therefore it not uses hormones, more kind of juices that we call an exocrine function. Exocrine means outside world. So when you look at the small picture, I hope you can see that there is a small channel, and that channel goes out in the duodenum. Here about and there about. In the lower part, it comes together with the duct of the gallbladder. The outside world, where these juices is, the way we say it, when you have a channel from your mouth to your anus, that is outside world. Everything can comes in it, every bacteria, every virus, food, and that belongs to the outside world. And that's what we called exocrine. As I said, goes to duodenum. So it has also hormones what regulate the blood sugar level. And the hormones it's using is insulin and glucagon. And insulin lowers the blood sugar, and glucagon rises the blood sugar. And that is given to the blood, and the blood is a closed system, so that is endocrine. When I'm looking to a pancreas, this is a little bit a different picture. So here you have the pancreas. This is the cut of stomach, what goes towards your duodenum, what's also cut off. When you go further than about here, it makes a sharp corner, and then becomes it small intestine, I think you call that.
Yes.
And what you here see is the colon, the transversus, the horizontal part from the colon that is cut off. What I'd like you to look also here is when you look here, you see blood vessels that come through a hole of the diaphragm. So here's a little bit diaphragm uh, um, drawn, and here on top of the stomach also. So the pancreas is directly below your diaphragm, completely at the backside. When I take the pancreas away, what I see then is, when I'm pushing right, you see those yellow things. Those yellow things are nuclei. What is the word of nuclei? That's nerve system, nerve cells, nerve tissue. As you see, that's all kind. It's that's what called a plexus. It's different nodes where all kinds of nerve tracks are coming out of, or just nerves. So that's a very complex system that is there, and that is very much in charge. I don't like to say that because it's just a part of it, but it's very important for the working of your abdominal organs. That we call the plexus solaris. In the earlier times. Now they don't like to do that because that sounds the same as all those strange energy workers. So they call it now plexus celiacus. But when you connect with the energy of the solar plexus, so when I say solar plexus, then I'm talking about the energy center. When I'm saying plexus solaris, then I'm talking about the anatomy. So just when I say the word plexus first, is it anatomy? When I say the word plexus last, then is it energy? Just, is again my weird way of thinking. So what happens when your diaphragm is tense? When you're holding yourself back? Oh, first, what's the function of your solar plexus energy center? Your solar plexus, think back, your solar plexus can come out. The energy can come out of your system. Your solar plexus is there where you expresses your soul mission. Not by doing, by being. So there can your soul mission come out of you, can come in your outside system, but also further. And therefore, so many people have a tense diaphragm because they are so used to hold themselves back. They hold themselves literally in. What I said also before, that they almost cannot breathe there. They only breathe on top of in their lungs because we have learned not to show ourselves who we really are. We have to fit in a box where your parents, the school, you name it, what you can feel in your life has put you in. Again, I don't want to say anything bad about your parents. Parents, 99% of the parents do their best and give everything what they have. But so they're also children of their time. So with that, they make, I even don't want to call it mistakes, in the sense they do their best. They give everything they can, but it doesn't mean that it's the way that suits you best. It's the way that they know, but that doesn't mean that it will suit you. And therefore, many of us holding back because expressing who you are is perhaps even not welcome or is very vulnerable. But that time is gone. Here is the mark when you are still not expressing who you are as a soul with your soul mission, then today, this time you hear it, it stops. The energies are here and are very welcoming you to express yourself in the way you are. So, what I said already is that I'm looking what's happening, nothing. That it's good. So you can express your soul mission outside. What benefits you, of course, a lot, but benefits your surroundings, the humanity as a whole, Pachamama, Mother Earth. You are here with a mission. There is, for everybody living in this time right now, it's important that you live your mission. You are needed. How big or how small, that doesn't matter. When it's the way, when you express it in a way, what the reason is that you choose to be here at this time on Earth. When you are holding back, you cannot do that. But when you're not holding back anymore, when you express it, and when you also put your heart energy in that. So, how can I explain that? So, when you look at your diaphragm, the one that you are breathing with, that's a kind of sphere, is that how we can call it?
Mhm.
And when you breathe in, then that flattens and goes down. Breathe out, it relaxes. So this sphere form is the relaxed state. This is a tense state, or pulled further up is a tense state. When I'm looking at the diaphragm, when I hope you can see it, my thumb is at the back side of my body. So here is front, here is back. My solar plexus has so energy, but also the plexus solaris, both. And the solar plexus is in the complete system, of course. But so the anatomy, the plexus solaris is in the back. Your heart is on top of your diaphragm. What happens when I breathe in, it flattens, and my heart comes in the region of my solar plexus. It comes in that region of where I can express my soul purpose. When you come there with all your unconditional love for yourself, for the world, for your mission, then the energy from what you express outside of you is even way bigger, way more helpful. It's even that big that it is pure medicine. I'm not saying that is a healer works a little bit differently, but what you expresses for the world when you do it like this is medicine. So important is it. I'm trying to think of another way to express it, and then I'm thinking it doesn't matter, of course, how you express it, as long as you express it in the way you are. When you are a painter, express it in painting. When you are a writer, it doesn't matter, as long as you do it in the way that suits you, that energy can flow, and that your heart is completely in it. I'm thinking, for instance, um, singers. How singers, uh, sadly enough, not many singers, but there are singers who can do it in this way. Is that when they breathe in, and so they are very good in diaphragmal breathing, and because that belongs to their job. When they breathe in, when they can sing, and when singing is really a part of their soul mission. And so they love singing. They don't know other than expressing themselves through singing. And so that heart comes down again, comes in that energy field of the solar plexus. So it takes the solar plexus and that heart energy up, and then passes it hard again. So what they can do then, or some of them do, is the emotion, what belongs to that song, they can put also in that energy. And the best songs are the sad songs, of course. So that sadness, that grief, or whatever that song is about, they can put that energy also in that energy. And when that's coming out, it cannot be otherwise than that you are touched to the core. It, uh, um, even also by people you don't like their voice or you don't like their way of singing. It cannot be differently than you are touched. And it's also music, of course. Just music is already very much healing. But when a singer is able to sing it in this way, then that is magic from the highest level. And that is also pure healing. And that is for me healing energy. More even so than what I just called medicine. I think that's it. What I want to talk about this. I think Robin want to express herself also.
I kind of don't want to add a lot because our podcast is like, this is perfect timing for the length of it, but also I just kind of want to leave it to be assimilated in this form. The only thing that I would touch on to just kind of weave it a little together is what I've already expressed, because originally I was going to talk esoteric anatomy and kind of weave it into what you were saying, but I think that'll make it too complicated. So I want to kind of not do that now, but just to touch really I think it's fantastic because we did not talk about what you were gonna talk about or what I was gonna touch on. But here we are. And what I was gonna touch on is what's happening in the sky right now because of the visualization that we did last time and such. So again, I'm going to say how pertinent, extremely pertinent, especially right now, breath work is. And please look back at what Clementine has told us today, and it should be obvious why breath work is so pertinent because you're bringing the heart into the diaphragm space. When you bring your energy up out of Pachamama and you bring your energy down from the cosmos and they mix, that's exactly the space where they mix. That's the crossover, that's the blending, where you put your heart self out into the world. Okay, so breath work is the key. Okay, and astrology speaking, Gemini is what's being highlighted right now. We are in Gemini season. We just moved into Cancer season. That's okay. But Chiron is in Gemini, and that's what we were talking about with the wounded healer. That's breath work. It's the nervous system. That's why we did the visualization to anchor the new nervous system. Chiron is not moving into Gemini. Chiron is moving into Taurus. Uranus is moving into Gemini. That's all the nervous system. Chiron is involved with Taurus, and that's literally the thyroid, the hormones. And so everything that you've touched on today, Clementine, is exactly what is being stirred up in the cosmic soup around us. Those energies are being highlighted right now for us to work with. And so consciously going into that,
I want to touch on because I knew I was forgetting something and I didn't know what. Otherwise, I wouldn't forget it. Because I didn't touch on the hormonal part of the pancreas. And so what happens when you tense, your diaphragm is tense, you have tension on your plexus solaris, the nerve system, but also on your pancreas. So when you look at the anatomy of the pancreas, when you touch it, it is a kind of a jelly sponge. When there is tension on it, it becomes harder. So it doesn't flow that well. And so the hormones cannot come out that well. When you cannot express yourself, what your soul mission is, you are a kind of out of balance. You don't feel yourself. Many people have the feeling that they need to eat something. So they feed themselves with something else than their soul, with sugar. And so therefore, um, um, their blood sugar system comes out of balance. Some people need also to eat sugar to stay sweet because they want to express, but they cannot. And that makes them, and therefore they eat sugar because they numb themselves a little bit like that. So therefore they can stay sweet. But there are also people who don't eat more sugar and still are pre-diabetic or diabetic. And that has all to do that the system, the hormones, the way it's used is not imbalanced and it cannot express itself in the way it should or the way it is built. And so I got a download, and that was saying, we people are like rivers. When we don't flow like a river, when a river cannot flow from what kind of obstruction it is, it's becoming dead. It starts to smell. There are start to grow algae in it, and um, now that voice is saying, in people it becomes allergies. And so, and we need to flow. Energy needs to flow. Our waters need to flow. We are so much water. What is also energy? Um, uh, so it's called also liquid life, liquid light. So energy needs to flow, and it needs to flow in a healthy way. And I don't know if I need to say more. I think most people know how important it is that your blood sugar level is good, and that becoming diabetic or that it's very bad for your whole system, not only but that goes so far as for your brain. And so just live your soul mission. That's all. Robin says yes. That means thank you for listening till the end. Hopefully it was helpful. As said, I'm willingly to talk about the other ones also, but I think it's better to do it in a kind of course. Questions? Put them in the comments.
Could also make a course for the esoteric anatomy to go with it as well.
Yeah. We can do it in every way possible. Wishing you a wonderful time, and see you next week. Bye bye.